everyone, welcome back. I apologize for the glare on my glasses, but there's really not much I can do with it. I've tried repositioning this camera several times. But anyway, Skippy and I are here today to do a review of The Last Princess. This is by Galaxy Craze. It's a YA post-apocalyptic book, although I have seen it described online as dystopian, but I really don't see anything that's of a dystopian nature within this book. It is definitely a story that takes place after a major apocalyptic event, which is described as the 17 days. During the 17-day period, it says the world is battered by earth-splitting quakes, torrential hurricanes, tornadoes, and tsunamis. Volcanoes erupted, filling the sky with fiery smoke that blocked out the sun and covered the fields with strange purple ash that suffocated crops. Scientists called it a catastrophic coincidence. What it did was basically leave England cut off from the rest of the world. It's left a world that's covered in ash, plants are dying, water and food is scarce. There are bands of roamers in the countryside searching out prey, which often happens to be other humans. Yes, they are cannibals. It's a pretty horrific world. Now, this story follows the Windsor family and is told by the point of view of one of those members. There are 3 children. There's Mary, the oldest, Eliza, the youngest daughter, who it's told from her point of view, and then their younger brother, Jamie. It starts out with Eliza sort of reminiscing about her mother's last day, the day she was poisoned. She was still pregnant at the time with Jamie. This is after the 17-day period when the family and the whole countryside is just sort of trying to cope with everything that's happened to them. And there's a new guard, sort of a revolutionary band rising up that wants to take control. This revolutionary group, the New Guard, is run by Cornelius Hollister. He's intent on becoming the new king, and to accomplish this, he's intent on wiping out the entire Windsor family. And it begins with the queen. He manages to poison her, and just as the mother is dying, they are able to induce labor and save the boy, who later becomes named Jamie. He's born very sickly and needs special medication, kind of just to stay alive, basically, which is very hard in this new harsh reality. So there's the 3 remaining children, Mary, Eliza, and Jamie, and their father is off kind of doing business, sort of trying to run the country. He's a bit distant after all of this that's happened and the loss of his wife. So again, we're told the story from Eliza's point of view, and the family's sort of getting ready to rejoin with the father for the Roses Ball. Yes, they are hosting a ball. It's sort of been part of tradition all the years. It seemed to me a bit ridiculous that in this current state of the country that they would host something like that when there are bands of people starving outside, that you're going to host a ball. That's one of the reasons I have issues with this book, you might say. But the family does go and join the father. Eliza has now become aware more so about this Cornelius Hollister and the part he played in her mother's death and his intent for the rest of the family, and she's very concerned, tries to bring up those concerns to her father, who doesn't really want to speak with them at this moment. He says this is not the time, this is a time for celebration and a bit of enjoyment. But unfortunately that comes to a crashing end when the New Guard attacks the palace and her father is killed. During these events, her sister, Eliza's sister Mary, and Jamie are kidnapped and taken away, and Eliza is spared by one of the guards who pretends not to see her. His name is Wesley, who plays another part later on in the book. Now she's separated from the rest of their family. She's lost both her parents, and she's on her own. She still has the intent of seeking revenge on Cornelius Hollister, and the only way she can see of doing this is sort of to join the revolutionaries and become a spy in their midst to get closer to them. There's an incident in this book, another issue I have with it, where to prove she's worthy to join the revolutionaries, she has to fight one of their... they've kidnapped some of the royal guard that were loyal to the Windsor family. She has to fight one of them to the death. Now, she, of course, has no intention of killing this person, but she's able to best him in the sword fight. A seasoned soldier. And here's this young girl, teenager. I thought that was a bit ridiculous. Yeah, sure, they've mentioned that they took lessons from the Master of Arms and stuff like that, but seriously, to be able to outbattle a soldier, I thought was really, really ridiculous. There are scenes within this book where Wesley, the soldier from earlier, does appear again later and comes quite often to her aid, quite miraculously, and I thought, absurdly, he's always in the right place at the right time. It's sort of an insta-love situation between the two, which I didn't really care for. I thought it was too rushed, which is basically the pacing of this book. It is very fast-paced, which I like in a book. I like a lot of action. I like a lot of fast pace, but not at the detriment of the plot or the world building or the character development. It moved way too fast. I wanted more world building. I wanted to find out more about this post-apocalyptic world. Just the point of when her father's killed and her siblings are taken away and she joins the guard, it's a period of 2 days. It would have been interesting to see how this royal princess here now is out in the world trying to get by, and things seem to go quite well for her. People that are scavenging around for clothing and food and stuff just give her stuff. I mean, they're struggling themselves, and to see that they're just going to give her clothing, it just seemed a bit far-fetched that she didn't have to struggle very much and suddenly finds herself, you know, a situation that she can survive in a way. It's just way, way too fast-paced. The whole point with the ball, hosting this ball in these situations, I thought, like I said, was ridiculous. It made me kind of less sympathetic, I guess, in a way, towards the characters. And I hated that. I like to like my main characters. I did eventually grow to like Eliza more as the story progresses, because you do see some growth in her character as she comes to realize how cut off they were from reality as to what's going on outside. But it takes almost all the way to the end of the book for that to occur. Even the main villain in this piece, Cornelius Hollister, seems rather one-dimensional. The situation where he happens to kill the king, well, he shoots, and the father steps in the way and saves Eliza, but yet he couldn't fire again and kill the other 2 children that were right there. It's like he instantly disappeared from the scene, and I'm thinking he had the opportunity to wipe out almost the entire family right there, which is his goal, so he could become king. And yet, poof, he's gone, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, what happened? Where'd he go? Things just moved way too quickly. I think I had a lot of high hopes for this book. The premise of it sounded really interesting, and I mean, the cover alone, I mean, you could see that devastation, House of Parliament, Big Ben over there, everything's on fire, it's falling apart. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more detail of the world building. I wanted to see more of her struggle, and I didn't. It just seemed everything went too well for her, too easy for her. The band of cannibals that were kind of mentioned in the book seemed to be just kind of thrown in there as an extra element of danger for her to have to avoid, and they're never really mentioned again. What was the point of that? There is going to be a sequel. I think it's due out in the spring. I'll probably read it just to see how she continues the story, but it's not something I'm going to buy. It'd probably be something I'll rent out. Overall, it was just an okay read for me. Like I said, I was let down on too many points, and yeah, I will continue it, but again, just a rental. If you guys want to check it out, maybe go right ahead. Hope you enjoy the review, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.